Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's Python project, we're going to be controlling our volume on our computer using just our hands. No buttons, no mouse, just hand gestures detected with your webcam using OpenCV, MediaPipe, and Pycaw. Any further ado, let's get started. For this project, we need to install quite a few modules. So let's start with that. In your terminal, we're going to say pip install OpenCV Python. Then we're going to install MediaPipe. So we're going to say pip install MediaPipe. Next, we're going to install Pycaw. So we're going to say pip install Pycaw. And lastly, we're going to say com types. So we're going to say pip install com types and hit enter, and you should have them in no time. Now we're going to move on to our code. We're going to start off by importing CV2. So CV2 is from OpenCV, which handles our webcam video stream. Next, we're going to say import MediaPipe as MP. MediaPipe is Google's library for hand tracking. Then we're going to say import NumPy as NP. NumPy is used for mathematical calculations, especially interpolation. We're also going to import math. Math helps us calculate the distance between our fingers. Now we're going to say from Pycaw import audio utilities. iAudio endpoint volume. So Pycaw allows us to control the system volume on Windows. Then we're going to say from C types import cast pointer, and we're going to say from com types import clstx. C types and com types help Pycaw interact with the Windows audio system using the com interfaces. Now we're going to create a variable called cap, and I'll set this variable to CV2 video capture. In these parentheses, we're going to have 0. This line opens your default webcam. If you have multiple webcams, you can change the 0 to 1 or 2 to access the different ones. 0 is your default webcam. If you have multiple webcams, you can set it to 1 or 2, and you can R&D and see which cam you want. Now I'm going to create a variable called MP hands, and I'll set it to MP solutions hands. We're going to create another variable called hands, and I'll set it to MP hands. And I have another variable called draw, and I'll set it to MP solutions draw utils. Over here, we're initializing MediaPipe's hands module. Hands creates a hand tracker, and drawing utils lets us draw landmarks on the hand to see what it's detecting. Next, we're going to create a variable called volume control, and I'll set it to audio utilities get speaker activate. Now we're going to create another variable called control volume, and I'll set it to cast vol control pointer. Next, I'm going to create two variables, minimum volume and maximum volume, and I'll set the volume range to 2. So here's what's going on in this section. This section connects your system speakers and gives us access to the system volume. Audio utils get speakers gets your speaker device. .activate prepares it for control. Cast lets us actually change the volume, and finally we get the min and max volume levels using get volume range. Now when I begin with the main loop, we're going to start off by saying while true, then we're going to say write image, and we'll set this to cap read. Like I said, this is the start of our main loop. It constantly reads the frames from our webcam and stores the images in the variable img. Now I'm going to create a variable called image RGB, and I'll set it to CV2 CVT color. Result equals hand process image RGB. So MediaPipe needs the RGB image, but OpenCV uses BGR. So we convert the frame to RGB, then process it to detect hands. If results multi-hand landmarks, hand results equals results multi-hand landmark 0. Draw landmarks, image, hand MP hands, and connections. Over here we check for a hand, and if a hand is found, we store the landmarks of the first hand and draw lines connecting all the hand joints so we can see the detection live. Next, we're going to get the finger positions. We're going to create height and width variables and set them to image shape 2. Next, we'll create a variable called LM and we'll set it to hand landmark. Now we're going to create x1 and y1 variables and set them to int LM 4 times the width, int LM 4 times the height. This will give us the landmarks of the tip of the thumb. Then we're going to have x2 and y2 variables and we'll set them to int LM 8 times width, int LM 8 times height. This will get us the landmarks for the index fingertip. Next, we're going to create cx and cy variables and we'll set them to x1 plus x2 divided by 2y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So over here, we're grabbing the height and width of the frame and use that to convert the landmark coordinates into actual pixel positions. Next, we're going to calculate the distance and set the volume. We're going to create a variable called length and I'll set it to math hypotenuse x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. Now we're going to create another variable called volume and I'll set it to np interpret length 20, 200, minimum volume, maximum volume. Volume set master volume, level volume none. So over here we're calculating the distance between the thumb and the index finger. Math hypotenuse gives us the straight line distance. Then we map the distance to set the volume level using np interpret, so small distance equals low volume and larger distance equals high volume. Finally, we set the system volume to match that. Now we're going to draw the UI feedback. To do that, we're going to say CV2 line In these parentheses, we're going to have this. Then we're going to say CV2 circle, and in these parentheses, we're going to have this. And then we're going to have CV2 put text, and in these parentheses, we're going to have this. This lets us draw a line between the two fingers and a dot in the middle to show the volume percentage in the top left corner. Next, we're going to code the part that shows the video frame and exit on cue. We're going to say CV2 image show volume control image. If CV2 wait Q1 0FF equals Q break. This line shows the video feed in a window called volume control. If you press the Q key, the video loop will stop and the program will end. And that's it. You've built a hand gesture volume control program using Python. Let's go ahead and run the program. And that's it for this one. If you enjoyed or found this video helpful in any way, shape or form, then consider leaving a like and subscribing. Turn on post notifications to be the first to know when I upload a new video. Please help me reach my goal of 10k subscribers before the year ends. Also, I'm always looking to improve. If you have any constructive criticism or any questions or just want to say hi, then leave it in the comments section below. And until next time, thanks for watching. Peace.